So I'm coming into my lunge, adjusting with the blocks as you need. And I want you to flex that front foot. That means pull the toes back towards you and find extending and bending that leg. So what we're trying to do is be really still in the rest of our body. And we're using the movement of the front leg to tease some tightness out of these deep hip flexors. Right? We can't help but notice. If your blanket is on your mat, your heel will slide along the surface of your blanket. You might not move as quickly, and actually that has its advantages too. Great. One more. As you place that leg down and the other leg takes its turn, make your adjustments. I'm coming into my lunge first and kind of reminding myself to hold this position, dorsiflexing that foot and sliding the leg out and in. Now, I'm gonna lose my blanket. I'm reminding us all to breathe. Exhale and push the leg away. Inhale and pull it to you. It wouldn't be wrong to do it the other way. It's just a different relationship of how the diaphragm is working with core engagement in this bracing pattern of movement. It's all good. This time, as you park your shins, making them nice and wide, the blocks will move away. And we'll do something similar, but we're starting in this all fours position. And what I want to do is to remain still, so I want to not drop back in the hips. I want to remain still and slide the arms forward and then pull back. And what I want you to focus on is how when your hands press down, they give you not just control, but we are adding strength through the range of movement, and it will help you control. Notice what I did not cue is how far to go. You might go a few inches. You might go an entire foot. But as you extend the arms, please think about where can you work back from. Don't let this get away from you. Next, whether your knees need to be wider, come to a diagonal. So I'm going to try to stay in the frame with you, and I'm going to fold my mat just so that I can. And to show that I am working, I'm turning my upper body so that I have a side bend, and I'm working at this diagonal and returning. Okay, so I can back up just a little bit even and say, oh, here I am. What you might find is that you can go a little bit further. It might be a nice surprise. But as you bear down and pull in, it is not just about the arm work. It most definitely is about core work. Then there will be this, but I'm moving my arms at this diagonal in the other direction. That means my rib cage took on a side bend. And just a few repetitions with the breath. Again, if your blanket is on your mat, your hands would slide along the surface of the blanket. Your movement might be a little bit slower, but it has its advantages too. All right, wonderful. From here, we're going to place the blanket underneath our shins. And we're going to continue with shoulder attention, and then we will return back to the chair. So now, the blanket under the shin gives me an opportunity to keep the knee safe and more than one way. The strap comes in handy. From this all fours position, one leg forward. And we had a similar place when we were sitting in the chair. I want you to decide though, if what you really want is a deeper lunge. And I'm giving you permission today at one point to come a little bit past this 90-degree for the front knee so that you'll be able to pick up the back foot. And that might not be for everyone, but just know that you may feel comfortable with that. And I'm going to hold on to this strap. And at first I'm going to try and just fold it over so it won't dangle around me, and that way I can really show what I'm asking you to do. And we're gonna come from side to side. So we're here. And I'm giving time to allow this continued hip opening. Notice that you can go up and over and do some of this behind you. Yep. And now we are going to approximate more of what happens in cow face pose. So what you know in cow face pose is that one arm is from behind and the other is from below. And I want you to think that the arm that's up and above you is the one that belongs to that back leg. So we're creating length through that entire side of the body. I just want you to know why. And while your hands are in that position, we are going to floss the shoulders that way. At first, my bottom hand reaches down and back, and then I bend in the elbow and the top arm gets to straighten. And if you will, keep this light tug between the hands. They are reacting to the strap. And what we get while we have the shoulder opening is an opportunity to open the pelvis from the front, deep stretch. When you're ready for change, you can keep the top elbow bent and really take that bottom arm away and lift your gaze. You're welcome to stay there. But if you want to try something that is a little bit different, then we can hook the foot and take the arms so that the arms above are like the top arm. And what you can do is play between coming in and lifting that back foot. And that might not be comfortable, in which case, just stay with what you have here. This is a back bending, strengthening. And that's all we'll do with that today. Come into your downward facing dog. That was a lot. Roll the shoulders open. Bend in the knees, return to that almost imaginary seat. Notice how this is a recovery. Back into your downward facing dog. Lift your head and look ahead. Other leg steps forward. Rest the shin. As you come upright, decide about the length of your lunge. What happened on the other side? And truly, you can stay right here, knees at 90. So as you grab hold of your strap, my arms started out in a wide position. I want to be able to go comfortably with this tug that strengthens the shoulders while the hip opens. I'm going to explore taking the arms higher. I'm going to explore taking the arms slightly behind and having this variety of shoulder strengthening. So where we work on mobility, we get to work on strength in a very subtle and manageable way. The arms react to the strap, and you should find that you can explore, well, how far should my hands be away from each other? And so that leaves room for continued practice. All right. We want to take the arm behind us that belongs to the front leg that goes below, and the top arm is the one that belongs to the back leg. And we get to work now between those two places. I get to bend in the elbows and allow how the movement of the hands talks to the rest of the body. It begins to tug away more at what happens through the front of the hip. You can continue with that. It would be just fine. And if what you did on the other side was to explore hooking that back foot, taking the arms to the position of Gopamukhasana for the top arm, I'm opening. This becomes a greater back bending set of actions, and your body will tell you, make it comfortable for you, a comfortable challenge. And back to that same set of transitions. I want to come into downward facing dog. I don't want to give away everything. But I want to provide my body with a little bit of a recovery. Bending in the knees, coming to this almost imaginary seat. If you will now, walk your hands back. Swing up and sit. Come on and stand. And what I hope you find is that this sense of being open through your front body is truly greater.